What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and show you 10 crucial things you definitely need to change on your brand new iPhone 14, 14 Pro, or any other iPhone that's on the latest firmware update of iOS 16. Let's go ahead and get started. And yes, I'm covering battery improvements, best ways to optimize your display, and much more in today's video. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with something that Apple suspiciously did last minute. So if you're on the latest firmware update of iOS 16, this affects everyone. If you actually go into your settings and go into battery and then tap on battery health, and on the very bottom, by default, clean energy charging is enabled. It was enabled on my device. It was enabled on everybody else who I talked to. I have mine disabled due to the fact that this doesn't really affect me because my home is powered with green energy, solar panels, with a battery bank. And most of the time when I'm charging my device on the go, I'm charging it in my car, which already has an alternator. And with this clean energy enabled, check if your device has it on. It's going to slow down the charge rate of your iPhone unless you're charging at an off-peak clean energy source time. So if you have this enabled and you plug it in during the day, your iPhone's going to charge much slower depending on your region. It'll only charge quickly when it's known to leave a small carbon footprint. But again, my household is equipped with solar panels. My iPhone doesn't know that, so I don't need to have this feature enabled. So you may also want to look into this because this may be a setting you want to go ahead and turn off so your phone can always charge at its fast optimal rate. Now, next thing I want to go ahead and show you is get the battery life percentage to show on your battery percent health rate here by simply just going back, and on the very top portion right here on the battery is where you can actually enable it so you can actually see the exact battery life percentage of your iPhone. This is disabled by default. Now, other ways to maximize battery life on your iPhone can still be found in the settings. If you scroll down to General and where it says Background App Refresh, here I like to keep it on, but turn off some of these background apps because Airbnb does not need a refresh constantly and send me notifications because I'm not booking daily, so I don't need this. Nor do I need this. Nor do I care if Amazon notifications when I receive a package or a package on the way. I guess I'll leave that on. Music, don't care. Don't care. Go ahead and go through this and just turn off the apps you really don't care about, like receiving notifications. By turning this off, it'll turn off the background for that app so it doesn't use up energy, resources on your iPhone, nor data. And the ones I personally prefer leaving on are like Maps, my emails, and social media platforms as well, in case somebody needs to send me a message. Those type of apps typically is what you want to have on. The rest of these, just go ahead and turn off. Car, I guess I'll leave my Ford app enabled so it could constantly receive updates in case my alarm gets triggered and such. So it's a clever way to save and then increase the battery life performance of your iPhone 14. Another thing I want to go ahead and cover is the display, because the iPhone 14 Pro display is extremely bright. So you may want to go ahead and check and see if your auto brightness is at least enabled. By simply typing in auto brightness, this will quickly take us directly to the accessibility tab we need to be in. And with auto brightness enabled, for some reason my device had this turned off, and while I was driving at night, I will immediately get blinded by the 2000 nits that this display is capable of doing. So with the auto brightness enabled, no longer does it blind me when there's a bumpy road and my display turns on. So I like keeping this auto brightness enabled. Now, other brightness tools can be found in the control center. By long pressing here, you have the capability to quickly toggle dark mode or light mode, as well as activate night shift or true tone to eliminate any blue light so you get a better night's sleep. But if you go back to this main menu and you scroll down to display and brightness, here you can actually toggle light mode or dark mode, but I show you the other way as well. But you can actually enable automatic, where this will automatically toggle light and dark mode automatically depending on the setting you have selected. We selected sunset to sunrise, or you can create a custom schedule if you like. All personal preference. I like to keep it sunrise to sunset. But down here you can actually adjust the text size if you have a hard time seeing. You can adjust it right here. You can also bolden the text as well to make things more visible. And of course here if we can actually automatically adjust the auto lock or the raise speed feature. With the raise to wake feature enabled, whenever your display is off and you pick up your phone, it'll automatically like wake up the display. But since I'm moving, it's not going to be doing it. Oh, there, it just did it. This way I don't have to actually physically tap on the display. That's what the Raise Awake does. I like leaving that on. But the always on display, if your iPhone does have support for always on display, you can actually turn off the wallpaper. So when we lock our display, it's just a black screen. We only see our widgets and date and time. You can also enable it so it can show your notifications. I like to have that off, and I like to keep the wallpaper. But if you want a black screen entirely, you can always just turn it off entirely. So now you just get a black screen. But if you have an Apple Watch, don't worry. This is actually really smart because when the lock screen is enabled and you walk away from your phone, your iPhone will continue to communicate with your Apple Watch, and if it doesn't detect your Apple Watch, it will automatically just turn off the display entirely so it can preserve as much battery life as much as possible. Same applies whenever you put your iPhone inside your pocket. It's smart enough to detect that it's in a pocket. There's no need to have always on display enabled, so I actually turn off the entire display. It's pretty clever and brilliant. Now, new for the iPhone 14 is its unique safety features, as now you have crash detection, and to make sure you have everything enabled properly, if you actually go back to your setting page right here, when you scroll down to emergency SOS, here you have a couple of things to enable. You can either enable the call with hold and release. If you follow the screen animation, this will actually toggle the emergency SOS right here. But you can also enable it so you can tap the power button 5 times and it'll do the exact same thing. And if you have your device on silent, and you do the exact same thing, we'll actually do it all quietly so it doesn't alert anybody who's following you. And then of course down here, you can actually enable the crash detection. Make sure this is enabled. And you just scroll down, you have the capability to actually add an emergency contact. So not just 911 getting a hold of you, but also your emergency contact. Let's go ahead and move along. You can go ahead and talk about the new wallpapers customization abilities. So if you long press, it will quickly take us to this customization tab. If you tap the plus, you have all these wallpapers to select from, everything from suggested to photo shuffle, weather, and so much more. But the cool thing you could do with these is actually link them to your focus mode. So this one I have in particular for gaming. So when I select this and I open it up, it will only show me my gaming apps on this device, aside from my complete library right here. And to do this is extremely easy. And this also will toggle my gaming focus mode, so all my notifications don't go in or anything like that. So to do this, in this customization page, click on the focus link icon right here, and just go ahead and select the focus mode you would like to toggle with that wallpaper. So let's make this our default work. And now, whenever I switch to this, it automatically switches to my work focus. So it's pretty neat that you can do this. Other important things to know about the wallpaper customizations is you can actually create widgets on them as well. So by long pressing and tapping custom, and you click on locks page, just by tapping here, it will bring up all the widgets available to do this. And of course, by tapping here, you can actually select the font as well as add different colors. And you can also change the widget you want on top here as well. All personal preference, highly recommend playing around and customize it to your own personal preference. But that's a quick walk around on cool things you can do with the new wallpapers. So one of the cool things we get with the iPhone 14 Pros is the new action mode that can be found on the brand new, more powerful camera sensors back here. To quickly access this, by long pressing on the camera icon right here, or you can launch the main app as well. But here's where you can actually toggle between the many different lens options that we have. You can also long press for a smoother like zoom in or zoom out transition. And of course, we have the front facing camera right here. And of course, you have your pano mode, portrait. But when taking a video or a photo, you have these tools as well. You can actually enable raw image capturing, include or don't include live photos. You can also do the different like pre-made setting looks you can select from for the iPhone. So you got standard, warm, rich contrast. You get the memo. You can always switch between them, and also shows you right here the settings I got adjusted for these modes. So you can actually change those modes on demand if you like. And you can actually tap the little up arrow icon to give you additional functions as well. Like you can actually change the square capture rate or 16:9 if you wish. But the most important one is this one right here for the timer. You can actually set a 3-second timer or a 10-second timer. And when you tap the shutter, it'll start a 5-second timer, a 3-second timer. It'll actually toggle the flash right here as well. But the new action button can be located in the video section, and you can find it right here. And by labeling this, if you're in an outdoor environment and you're like running at full speed, this image will come out looking extremely smooth, as if you were capturing it with an action camera. This works extremely well. You'll be surprised. But here you can also change the resolution to 1080p or 2.9K, as well as change the frame rate as well. So this phone does capture in 4K, but if you have action mode, it kind of reduces the resolution. But originally you have full 4K capability to select from, and maximum is 60 FPS. But of course you have your cinematic mode, slow motion, which can go all the way up to 240, and your time lapse as well, which gives you access to additional tools down here as well. But that's basically how you activate the new action mode on the iPhone. Now, other useful tools you can find on your iPhone is the capability to quickly scan documents. If you actually go on the Note app and you long press right here, you have the capability to scan a document right here on the go. Super convenient. I use this multiple times. It's very useful and handy. One of those hidden or forgotten capability that the iPhone can do. Another unique thing is the new text image capability, where if you pull up an image and you find some text, you can actually long press and you can actually copy, or if it's in a different language, you can also translate as well. And if it's like a currency, you also have the capability to actually convert the currency to dollars, if it's pounds and stuff like that, as an example. It works all flawlessly and super well. Now, in terms of Siri control, I highly recommend at least being aware of some of these features so you can actually adjust Siri to work in a way you want it to. So if you don't like the hey, automatically setting off your device on accident, I have mine disabled. This is where you actually go in and disable that. So I only have it so Siri will only pop up if I long press the side button. And I also have Siri set up so I could also summon her even if my device is locked. And of course here is where you actually go in and change like the accent as well if you like to, or even select a different language as well. So before I end the video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the new send capability as well as edit your messages. These two things are super crucial when it comes to communicating on iMessage, because let's be real, we all make mistakes. Sometimes there's a typo, or sometimes there's just something stupid you sent to the wrong person. So if we actually send a message like no and hit send, you can actually long press and you have the freedom to undo that sent text message or edit and say yes, and then hit check mark. Now, whenever you edit a message, the person can also text right here, and we'll show everybody a preview of what that previous message used to say before you edit. So it actually shows you that history. But if you erase it entirely, hit the undo, it'll actually go away. And then real quick, if you have an Apple Watch, this is a feature that a lot of people always freak out and forget that they have. Whenever you launch Control Center, you tap once for the Find My capability. It plays sound. We all know this. But if you long press, it'll toggle the flash so you can actually locate your device much faster. A lot of people tend to forget about this. And just like that, now you know all the cool things you definitely have to adjust at first, especially when you just picked up an iPhone. So there you guys have it. Thank you so much for being subscribed to the channel. If you'd like to find out more, I have this dedicated video over here where I go through additional secret features that the iPhone 14 has that you'll definitely want to go ahead and check out. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. See ya.